Have you had enough? Are you prepared to strike? Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur, and yeah, we're doing a special Saturday video because I think this needs to be talked about. We'll probably be doing videos all weekend long, in fact. Now, I'm going to open because we did a podcast a few days ago, a podcast that, of course, mysteriously disappeared, and I don't know what happened to it, to be perfectly frank. Granted, it wasn't our best podcast, but it's still frustrating to spend over an hour recording something and putting it up, and then it just disappears. But in that conversation, I was talking to Mark from Uber Hints and Dustin from, Writing with Dustin. And Mark admitted that he was very, very close to not driving for Uber anymore. And I had predicted last year that he would not be driving for Uber at some point. Well, the day came yesterday, like a couple of days after we did the podcast, where he admitted he'd quit. He's not going to be driving for Uber anymore. And I think that's very, how do we put it, indicative of where Uber is right now. Because Mark is a pretty big optimist, and he's a lot friendlier than I am. And even he's saying enough is enough. And the one thing that I didn't mention in the podcast is on the day he quits is the day that I know that Uber might be in some serious trouble with their drivers. Because Mark is so optimistic and he wants to do the channel to give you good advice. Like, he's actually someone who, he doesn't publicly disagree with what I do, but he has stated to me many times that he has a hard time imagining doing an Uber Hints channel if he doesn't drive for Uber. But the situation is so dire, he has been abused so much, just like everyone has, like we all have, that even he has to say enough is enough. And that kind of leads us into today's story. Uber drivers prepare to strike over 25% cut in wages. This is from the Los Angeles Daily News. This was also on Politico, believe it or not, which I don't want to share you Politico's article because for reasons. But here it is. In black and white, Uber drivers are preparing to strike. Now let's look at this and then we'll discuss this because I know this is not the first Uber strike. But Uber drivers from Los Angeles and Orange counties plan to gather in Redondo Beach on Monday to protest a recent 25% wage cut and will demand that drivers earn at least $28 an hour. Which, to be fair, that's the average you made way back when I first started doing this. $28 an hour, sometimes $35, that was the average you made. And you didn't even need Surge to do it. Oh yes. And you wonder why I don't put up with the rate cuts. But anyway, the one-day strike, already that's the first problem, is being coordinated by Rideshare Drivers United, an independent association that seeks fair pay, transparency, and a voice for drivers who work for Uber, Lyft, and other rideshare services. Quote, "We plan to make some noise and create a ruckus to get the 25% back they stole," said rideshare spokesperson James Hicks, who also drives for Uber. "I'd be demanding a little bit more than the 25% back they stole. 25%? Man, they have stolen like 145%, maybe more in the last few years. You should be asking for more." And one day, wow, yeah, I've definitely got thoughts about this. An abrupt change. The change, which impacts drivers in Los Angeles County and North Orange County, was abruptly put into effect March 11th and accompanied by a brief message. Quote, "In September 2018, we increased the well, you know what that says. Basically, we increased this, you didn't drive. How dare you little ants not drive? We're going to take it away from you. See who's really the boss here." As a result, Uber said it was increasing the per minute rate drivers earned, but reducing the per mile rate and minimum fare. The per minute rate jumped from 15 cents to 21 cents. Bravo, 35 cents would be ideal, but whatever. But the minimum fare dropped from $3.75 to $2.62, and the more crucial per mile rate dropped from 80 cents to 60 cents, which needs to be pointed out is 2 cents more than the tax write-off you get. 2 cents more. Uber's response. In a statement issued Friday, Uber acknowledged it's changed the rates, but said the company has introduced a Quest promotion and allows drivers to earn bonuses based on the number of rides they provide. Yeah, let's just get through this dumb comment. These changes will make rates comparable to where they were in September while giving drivers more control over how they earn by allowing them to build a model that fits their schedule. But yeah, I'm sure you want to give drivers control over their schedule, their earnings. That's why, you cut the rates. That's why you cut down on the destination filter. That's why you take a cut out of the destination filter now. Now there's like a reduced rate. That's why you force upfront pricing and upfront surge. No, not even. And by the way, this Quest promotion, that's nothing. A promotion should be just that. A promotion. It's a promo. You get a bonus if you do this. If not, oh well, you make regular rates. The way Uber's actually wording this, it's kind of like they're saying, hey, you know what? You want to make the money you were making before? You want it to be good? Well, why don't you just drive the way we want you to drive? And by the way, I've been getting a lot of messages on my Facebook page, email, everywhere, where people have been complaining that they've been doing these Quest promotions, and mysteriously, when they're 2 to 3 rides away from getting the promotion, most people have found it gets deadly silent. They can no longer make it. I wonder why. It's a really strange thing, really. Working longer for less money. Yep, key point there. The strategy isn't resonating with some drivers who complain they must now work harder to earn less money. Well, that's been that way for years. I was working 50 to 60 hours a week and making anywhere from $1,100 to $2,000 a week, said Corey Mills, 39 of Chino Hills. Now I have to work doubly hard to get the same pay. Last week, I worked 82 hours and made $1,000. Hicks is also feeling the squeeze. He was working 5 to 6 days a week and making $1,000 to $1,100 to $1,300, but that has changed. Now it's $700 to $800 a week, he said. Costs add up. The $28 an hour minimum Uber drivers are seeking might seem high to observers, but Hicks said it would help cover a litany of costs drivers pay out of their own pocket, including gas, insurance, vehicle maintenance and registration, tires, road tolls, and parking tickets. Parking tickets, I would hope you're not getting those, but I guess some people do. Monday's protests, including a rally and press conference from 11 a.m. to noon, will be held at Uber Greenlight Redondo Beach Hub at 2400 Marine Avenue in Redondo Beach. What day is the 25th? That is Monday. Unfortunately, I wish I didn't have a commitment that day, because I actually would have loved to attend this and live streamed it, but I probably can't do that. We'll see. You might see me there anyway. Representatives with Lyft could not be reached Friday to discuss any rate changes it may have recently implemented or whether disgruntled Uber drivers might be defecting to Lyft. Well, of course, the first thing I recommend, if you just absolutely don't want to get a rideshare, of course, defect to Lyft. They haven't cut them yet, but I'm hearing reports that they have cut the prime time, but I can't verify that. And someone who I respect has said that they haven't done that. But then someone I respect also said they have done that. So I just can't verify it. You're going to have to look into that yourself. Report details drivers' woes. The woes surrounding rideshare drivers have been mounting. Many such drivers are struggling to make ends meet, according to a 2018 study from UCLA. Over a third of buyers buy or lease their cars so they can drive for one of these companies, and this locks them into a variety of costs. Many of these drivers initially see this as a novelty and an easy way to make some added income. But with all the expenses they end up paying, some drivers find they are not making minimum wage. When asked what their most pressing concerns were, 77% of drivers surveyed for UCLA report pointed to vehicle wear and tear. Other top concerns include ride-sharing, insurance, safety, taxes, and traffic citations. Rideshare Drivers United said drivers lack the basic protections traditional employees have because rideshare companies classify them as independent contractors. By the way, I love that this was written by Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith, that's awesome. But now we have to get serious. Well, more serious. And I'm going to tell you, unfortunately, to this rideshare group who I have nothing against the people who are running this. I will always give a little bit of credit to people who get off their butts and do something. But you're doing this all wrong, in my opinion. I mean, yes, you start with a day, but striking for one day is not going to get Uber to change their mind, especially when it's known in advance that you're doing it. Uber has always had an anti-strike method in place, and that is the surge. Yes, you're going to strike. And yes, the surge will go up. And once you see the surge goes up 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, whatever, strike's over at that point. Get out there, make some money. That's how it's always been. And I don't see it being any different this time either. Also, people have been doing these one-day strikes for a long time. That's not how strikes work, guys. That is not how strikes work. Here's something that I recommend you do. This is your homework, okay? I recommend you rent, and you might have to do this on DVD through Netflix because I don't think it's on a streaming site anywhere, the Oscar-nominated documentary American Dream. American Dream follows some workers who work for a factory. And the company, whose name I forget right now, I probably should have pulled it up. In fact, let's see what it's called. American Dream documentary. Let's see what this is. For Pete's sake, there's Wikipedia. So, Hormel Foods Corporation. The film is centered on unionized meatpacking workers at Hormel Foods in Austin, Minnesota between 1985 and 1986. Hormel had cut the hourly wage from $10.69 to $8.25 and cut benefits by 30%, despite posting a net profit of $30 million. The local union P9 opposed the cut, but the national union, the United Food and Commercial Workers, disagreed with their strategy. The local union is shown hiring a freelance strike consultant, Ray Rogers, who comes in with charts, graphs, and promises of a corporate campaign to draw national press attention. Roger delivers in the short term, but it is not enough to defeat opposition from Hormel management and the UFCW International Union. Now, here's why I recommend this be your homework for not even a weekend, because I know that the strike will probably happen before you can get this in the mail. But this is kind of like a big wake-up call to how tough strikes are and how rare it is that they succeed. Strikes require more than a day. Strikes is absolute commitment to not working. It is absolute commitment to disruption of the force. And the reason strikes rarely work is because even when you get the raw deal, at some point, the strike goes on too long, you're not making money, so you go back. Now, you can't do that because the companies, first of all, Uber knows that once they turn the surge on, and keep in mind, Uber does have the multiplier surge, people will break on the strike because that's what this is about. It's about making money. And the high surges don't even come along that often anymore, so a strike will definitely cause a high surge. And I bet you the Quest promotions that day is going to be excellent to boot. But if you're going to go back the next day, then Uber's just going to mark it off. You need drivers to quit like in droves. And you have to have them stay quitting. You can't turn on the app. You can't be looking at the surge. You just have to turn it off. You even have to remove it from your phone if you want. Not agree to the new terms of service when they want you to take less money for Uber Eats. And you've got to do that to thousands upon thousands of people. Because first of all, that means the surge becomes more consistent, which means customers do pay more. It forces Uber to start paying out higher bonuses for new drivers. And, and heck, even if people are more aware of the strike, and you're consistent about it, and you're always in front of those hubs, not just for one day, but all the time, and you're getting the media involved, that's where you hurt them. And the strike is one day, the investors aren't going to be bothered by this because, hey, you know what? Strike came, went, was over. But if the strike goes on for weeks before the IPO, that will get their attention. So, and I know some people say, well, one person actually said, well, you say to quit, but what happens when it comes time to pay the bills? Dude, you're in the gig economy. You can drive Lyft, you can drive Postmates, you can do DoorDash, you can do Grubhub, you can do Caviar, you can do Saucy, I don't think Order Up is a thing anymore. I think Grubhub bought them, but you can do that thing where you deliver marijuana. You can do all of these things. You don't have to do Uber. There's a lot of options out there. So that's one thing. So actually, that's pretty much, yeah, so that's how you do it. And you can find part-time work. Do some part-time work in addition to the gig economy stuff. I know it sucks, but McDonald's is normally hiring. Just something to kind of keep your head afloat until you either get a real good job or Uber makes it worth your while to come back. I know we like having our freedom. This is part of what freedom looks like. You got to fight for it. You can't just can't say no. So, do I think this protest is going to work? No. I don't think it will, to be perfectly frank. That said, and this is where we're going to start getting a little bit more optimistic, believe it or not. I think we're very, very close to the strikes working. For starters, there's going to be more than one. Now, I can't say what I know. I have been talking to other people, but more strikes are coming. And some of the details that have been shared are pretty damning. There is going to be some major traffic disruption in some key states, and that will probably get the media's attention. What's more, in some of those areas, they don't have the surge to break the strike. I mean, in LA and Orange County, we still have a multiplier, but in some of these states that more strikes are going to be in, guess what? The surge is an extra $5 a ride. Not much incentive there. And this is also the first time that I've heard of multiple strikes happening within the same week. It's always been a strike here, a strike there. I think the drivers are fed up. They are fed up to the core. They can't take it anymore. So I think they're really serious about it this time. And if the strike doesn't work on Monday, we're so close to it working. And the last thing Uber wants is multiple strikes. And the drivers are angry at the $20 million settlement. They're angry about the rate cuts. They're angry about the destination filter being cut. They're angry about making less money on Uber Eats. They are just outright angry. Heck, Mark from Uber Hints has called it quits. That is a sign that we are closer to the drivers actually being serious about this. You're one of those drivers who just embraces this and continues to try to make $2,000 a week. You're looking more and more outdated by the day. I'm sorry. It's just right now. I think the Uber drivers are finally fed up with this, and I am seeing more and more. Here's one of the other things I've noticed that why this might actually be a thing. A couple of years ago, when I was doing the Delete Uber movement, the hashtag Delete Uber, I was pushing it before most people were. People were writing comments about, why are you doing this? You know it's not going to work. And yeah, I knew it wasn't going to work, but I had to try. I'm not doing that right now, but I get emails from, why don't you set up a strike? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And of course, the thing is, I have done that. I've been there, and I've discussed not driving for Uber. But the amount of emails that I'm getting about that, and the multiple strikes, and the fact that Uber tubers, who I swore would never, ever stop driving, it's all coming together. And the media has been hounding Uber about how they treat their drivers. Lyft too. They've also been hounding Uber and Lyft about how much money they're making, because, hey, you don't have to make money when you're private, But when you're public, well, now you're messing with other people's money. So you better have a viable business model. So I suspect something's going to happen. I suspect there's going to be a crack. I don't know. And there goes the plumbing. I don't know exactly when it's going to happen, but I think we're close. I very much think we're close. In the meantime, I guess I got to ask the question of you guys. What about you? Are you going to join the strike? If this isn't in your area, would you join a strike that was in your area? If you had to quit Uber for more than a day, more than a week, more than a month to make your point, would you do it? Because I know that is the most difficult question in all this. Where's the money going to come from? Guys, it's 60 cents a mile. You're not making money. Trust me. But we're going to leave it there. I'd love to know your thoughts. This is, and of course, this is, again, your homework. Rent this movie, American Dream, on DVD. Maybe it's on Amazon Prime. You can rent it for $4. I don't know. Maybe it's on iTunes. I own it on DVD myself, but I'd love to know. So comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you enjoy my videos, consider becoming a Patreon member. It's totally optional, but even as little as $1 a month goes a long way, helping the channel run smoothly. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one. #delete Uber.